What is the worst thing about YouTube? Cleaning bloody bikes. Today we're going to learn how to clean an e-bike properly with some Muc-Off gear. So let's go. Riders, welcome back to Sam's Bikes, where you know we only talk e-bikes. And today, super excited again, we're going to be cleaning Nick's bike, the Aussie Punter, because the Duck is for sale. And the lovely people at Muc-Off have sent me a pressure washer, which has low and high pressure, which is perfect for cleaning bikes. So let's get into it. But what we're going to need first is, you're going to need the pressure washer from Muc-Off. You're going to need some bike spray. You're going to also need some wet lube, ceramic lube, or dry lube, depending on if it's wet or dry where you're riding, obviously. We're going to need some drive chain cleaner, some paper towel, a couple of cloths, and a bucket of lukewarm water with this very nice Muc-Off brush. So let's have a look at what comes in the pressure washer. So this is a pretty big kit. So this is a waterproof bag that you can store it in, which I really like that. So a big waterproof bag, very cool idea. We've got a cloth, maybe a good idea for my knee, because it's quite hot out here. It's 43 degrees in Madrid. We have a extension cable to connect the gun to the actual pressure. It actually comes with bike protector, which is what I said, bike spray. They've changed the name, but this is like a silicone spray, which is amazing for the frame to make it like, it just shines. It's good for aluminium and carbon. We have 2 bike cleaners and one is a concentrate. So this is 4-to-1. So this should last you a couple of months. And let's pull out the beast. So this is the pressure washer. We have a manual. I never read the manuals. We have a gun here. And this is a connector to put the foam on. That is not the concentrated, that is the normal one. So you start with that one. Then we have another adapter here. We actually have 3 adapters. One's high pressure and one's low pressure. And I don't really know what the other one is. Oh, and we have something else. This would be even better for my knee. Perfect. All right, so that is it. Thanks Muc-Off for sending us out. I actually do use Muc-Off stuff quite a bit. Bea, my lovely wife, 3 years ago, gave me a Muc-Off cleaning kit for my bike. And to be honest, it's kind of like when you get socks for Christmas. I was like, a cleaning kit for my bike? Am I ever going to use that? But it's the one thing I've used solidly for the last 3 years. So it's definitely a good present option. All right, box done. And now, before we clean the bike, I'm going to say that this is Nick's bike and it is for sale. And I think he wants around 4,300 euros for it. It's an absolute bargain, and it's actually reasonably clean because it's 43 degrees in Madrid at the moment. We haven't been doing a lot of riding. It's quite dusty out there. And I just want to show you how to clean the bike. I'm sorry it's not that dirty, but you'll get the idea. All right, riders, I feel a little bit like Dirty Harry here. We've set it up. Nico helped me, Bea helped me. I'm a little bit rubbish at doing this stuff, but what we're going to need is water, power, and I worked out what these things do. So the Muc-Off power adapter, or the pressure adapter, seems to give a little bit less pressure. I could be wrong, but I reckon it's the best one for the e-bike as a very quick test. But we have a motorcycle, we definitely don't want to use that. And we have a bike one. And also, you want to make sure really to show respect to your e-bike and do not put high pressure into the motor area, into the battery area, into the remote, and into the button underneath here. So what I normally do is I start off and I clean all the areas that are affected really badly, the tires, the drive chain, and I'll leave the battery and the motor section till last, and I'll also step back and take the pressure away. I definitely will not spray high pressure into any of those areas. I'm going to start with the drive chain, because you need a couple of minutes for this to soak in. You need a 4mm Allen key and just put it into the cog bolt there, actually right up next to the crank, And look, now it will spin around, go backwards. If you don't have that, it just will not spin backwards. And now what we want to do, this is drive chain cleaner. So we just want to lather this on the back here and spinning the cranks backwards. Also get it around the derailleur. Okay, we're going to leave that soak for like 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so now we're going to wet the bike over. And remember, don't get too close to the motor or any of the electric parts. So I'm going to step back a little bit and we're just going to go start from the top to the bottom. Okay, so that's wet now. We're going to change the nozzle off to the Muc-Off fast action bike cleaner. And this is going to give like a nice foam over the whole bike, hopefully. Okay, and then as Nick said, while you're at it, you might as well do the back as well. So we're stepping away. And you want to do this pretty quick because it does chuck out a fair amount of soap. And what I normally do is I'll grab a rag, I'll squeeze it off so it's not too wet, and I'll come into the areas that have the mountain bike parts, like the changer, the power socket, the actual motor down here. And now I'll grab the Muc-Off brush, which is really good at cleaning the Schwalbe tires. And right, as you know, Schwalbe's a major sponsor of Sans Bikes, so we've got to make sure the Schwalbes are clean. And now we'll change off to the Muc-Off nozzle to clean off all this stuff. Okay, remember, don't get too close to the motor again. We'll start from the top. And when we go into the area with the e-bike section, the motor and the battery, I will just step back a bit more and just give it a little bit. And Muc-Off did supply a dry towel. I actually normally use paper towels, but this dry towel is going to work a treat. So we're just going to take off the excess water off the frame and all the components, especially the e-bike stuff. Make sure you dry off the changes here and the button underneath. Go down the frame. We don't need the Allen key anymore. We're going to do a little bit of high pressure cleaning to take off the drive chain cleaner straight in the cassette and the chain, but don't go close to the motor. Okay, so now continue drying off everything. And now this is when you want some paper towel. So what we want to do is grab maybe 3 sheets of paper towel. We still need that Allen key in the cranks because it's really important to dry off your chain. So get the paper towel around the chain and just run it backwards. And this will take off all the crap and also it will dry the chain. Okay, I'm going to come in with a close-up of that. Look at all that crap that came off the chain. Okay, so now we're going to let the chain dry before we lube it. We're going to put a little bit of this bike spray, which is kind of like a silicone spray. What I do is I put a little bit on a rag and I just go over the frame. It just makes it shine, and also it does give a little bit of protection. You check the chain, yeah, it feels pretty dry, but you 100% need to lubricate the chain before you put your bike away. So it really depends on if you're riding in wet or dry conditions. And we're in Spain, it's like 43 degrees out here today. So we're gonna get, I actually do use this. Before Muc-Off sent me this whole stuff, I actually do use their lubricant. I think it's really good. I'm not sure you actually need the e-bike lubricant, but we have wet lube and dry lube. What we're gonna do is we have our 5mm or 4mm Allen key here, so we can still go backwards. And a lot of people I see do a mistake is they put the lubricant on top of the chain here, which is not what you want to do because you actually want to get it on the inside of the chain. And a little tip, the quick link is where the chain actually connects. And you find the quick link and you start from there so you know actually where you've started and where you finished. So let's find the quick link. Okay, so the quick link is here. So we're gonna just lubricate the chain. We're going to go all the way around. One rotation. As I said, a tip would be to start on the quick link so you know where you've been. And you really want to do this because the chain will rust. If you leave it overnight or for 2 or 3 days with a little bit of wetness on the chain, it will rust. So we do that and we are done. If you are using wet lubricant, the wetter the day out, the more lubricant you want to use. But if it's not super wet, do it on the inside and just after like 10 minutes, just take off the excess with a rag. And with the dry lube, like you want to actually leave it for at least 10 minutes before you ride the bike because it needs to dry and set onto the chain. And I have to say we're done and Nick's bike looks amazing. And this was a very quick clean. You can use this for a quick clean, a long deep clean. I was really impressed with the pressure. You could really step away from the bike and get the right pressure for an e-bike. And Nico is selling this bike right now at 4,300 euros. It's a YT Decoy XL with a 475mm reach, which is more like a large at the moment. And we've got Lyric Ultimas with a Charger 2.1, and we've got 180 at the front with Schwalbe eddy currents front and back. We've got Hope hubs on DT Swiss Freeride 560s. We have the Fox X2 suspension and Shimano XT brakes 4 pistons. You would know if you're a fan of the channel, this was my bike and it's an amazing bike. So if anyone's interested in it, send me a message on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube and I'll definitely get back to you. And riders, that's it for today on how to clean an e-bike with a low pressure and a high pressure washer from Muc-Off. Massive shout out to Muc-Off, legends for sending this out. And if you have any questions on the Decoy or the Forester that I just tested, or the Levo SL, or the Levo, or the Kenevo, or the Commensul, ask me, I love to help. And riders, stay safe out there. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so, share it with like-minded people, and I'm going to see you next week.